to deal with all this shit, his home life, you know, and all these other things. Like, you know, from where he's come to where he is now, statistically, he either should be dead or in a serious, like, gang member type thing, so to speak. If you look at all the things that transpired in those years, that, you know, he tried to develop and do more and better instead of letting it all hold him down or take him down. You know, in that time frame, he experienced quite a lot, and I was part of some of those experiences or heard about some of those experiences, and I get where he was coming from then, and now to see where he is now, like, kudos to him, you know, that you know, he's not in the casket, he's not in jail, he's not part of some fucking gang, or, you know, he's doing what he can to make his life.
He's good. He seems a lot more peaceful anyways. And it's
no one controlled me during those times. No one had mind control over me to influence the decisions that I made. So when I joined the gang, understand, joining a gang for me back then, it wasn't bad. It was actually kind of cool. You know, when you're in the hood joining a gang, it's cool because all your friends are in the gang. Maybe all your family members are in the gang. We weren't just sitting around or thinking about it or plotting or planning or killing people every night. We were just hanging out, having a good time. For many years, people wanted me to do this. And I didn't really feel. I was really wanting to share this part of my life and the story. And just, you know, be that vulnerable to open up because I'm a really private person. But in order for many of you to understand who I am, and why I am the way that I am, you gotta go back to the beginning. The beginning of my story, the beginning of my journey. And hopefully give you a deeper understanding of just who I was and how I got to this point. And over this next period of 15 episodes, you're gonna hear a lot of things that are probably gonna shock you. You're gonna hear from people who were there with the same circumstances as me. And hopefully by the end of this journey, we'll figure out just a little about who I am. Many of you think you know who I am, but you only know my name. You don't know my story. But here's how it begins. You can't bring back the ones you love. But what you can do, the best way to honor their memory, is by helping others. I knew after that night, everything changed. That we were at war. And as the body count rose, I knew this only was going to end one way. I knew what I needed to do next. This had to end. This had to end now. The day I got stabbed, I realized the difference between dying for something and dying for nothing. I realized the only reason why I fought so hard to stay alive that day was because I didn't want to die for nothing. But today, I can die for something. My way, my choice.
The only thing that's changed about Dee is that he's more protective of himself and who he allows in his life. One of my good friends, she's really like a huge hostess. Like, she was very popular in the day, right? So she was like a star, and she got stalked a lot by men whenever we would go out to the clubs that we would work at and promote at. And I'll never forget Dee. He's like, listen, what don't you understand? When women tell you to leave them alone, you leave them alone. Like, this is like, it's so blurry, but I remember he came out with his like suit and like, and the guy just wouldn't listen, and he knocked him out and he put him to sleep, and the guy fell to the ground, and we're like,
he's usually trying to save someone. Like, when someone's in trouble, or if he knows someone and he sees something going down, he's in the middle of it first to defend you. Or whatever. Even for me,
when you're talking about almost killing someone in self-defense, now that's a little bit of a different ballgame. So his life in that time frame, it is what it is, right? It's true. You know, he almost got killed during that situation, and a target went on him for a while.
When you come from the streets and you make poor decisions, People are going to judge you by those decisions. Let me ask you a question. What would you do? What would you do if someone was hunting to kill you? Would you stand and run? Or would you fight back?
And something happened inside. I looked one way, and I see Derek go the other way.
A beer bottle at my head, and I remember, yeah. My son was, I think, 3 at the time, 2 or 3, and I remember how pissed he was. And because he was more mad at himself because he wasn't right there in the instant to stop it, to prevent it from happening.
Mm-hmm.
I was covered in blood everywhere in the middle of the club, and he took the guy outside, and I thought he was going to kill him.
One night I went out with my friend. Great, everything's fine inside the club. Great. Something happened inside where a couple guys got kicked out. There was a fight. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like 2:30 in the morning. They got kicked out. Cool. We're leaving the club. We're going upstairs. Pretty much 3 against like 6. So something's about to happen. And then out of nowhere, corner of my eye, I see Derek come out of nowhere.
Grabbed the guy, took him outside, beat the living snot out of him, and his team pulled him off the guy while the ambulance was coming and tending to me.
Died down. Everything's great. All right, cool. We're about to leave. I'm walking from back to our car. He's going his way. I'm about to go my way. And then some random guy out of nowhere, some dude, I don't know what he is, said something to Derek. Lines of, "Oh, you think you're so tough?" I was like, who the heck is this guy?
You're talking about almost killing someone in self-defense.
I do what I gotta do, and you do what you gotta do.
He was innocent and didn't have a choice, but if you would have caught him, he was dead. That was the situation where he had horseshoes up his ass, and I'm glad, obviously. That was crazy. They were hunting him for a while.
Which seems to be where he ended up with the name DTEFLON, because it seems like, I mean, this is one example of this kind of hate or issue that he's been through with other people, and he's like somehow continuously overcome it.
A beer bottle at my head, and how pissed he was.
He's a lover. He's not. If he's fighting to protect, and that's how.
Pretty much 3 against like 6. So something's about to happen.
They wanted what?
He gives me his jacket, gives me his watch, and then these 2 guys are about to square up. I need to go home. So whatever you plan on doing, do this real quick, because I'm not holding this stuff. You need to get this over with real quick. It wasn't real quick.
On 2-3 guys by himself.
Right, it's at home.
He did.
It's just one nice boom, he goes down. I'm like, okay, cool. It's done. It's 3:30. Let's go home. Let's grab our stuff.
As he finished destroying these guys, and you can hear the and that's people just landed on the ground and stone cold stunners and